I'm AngeloSerra. I've lived now in Hilliard for 27 years. My wife, two boys. We started out in the shoe area of Hilliard on Nike Drive when we first moved here back in '97. Started coming to Coffee Connections before it was Coffee Connections. Changed hands. I think, Nate, I met you maybe the second week you were open. I had heard it had switched hands and started coming in here. My wife calls me a coffee snob, but I think I'm going to be quite the coffee nerd over time. So what you do here from a caffeine perspective is very awesome as far as I'm concerned. Most of the family's from Italy. My dad's mother is from the Genoa area. My mom's mother is from Sicily, Caronia, Sicily. My dad's dad, we do not know where he's from. We think he's from somewhere in the middle of the boot. And my mom's father was from the northern part of Sicily near Trieste. They're actually half Italian, half Polish. We stick more on the Italian side, but we do make nods to the Polish every once in a while. I see a lot of the Italian bar culture, the morning Italian bar culture, here in your shop. The Italians love their coffee. Coffee is a way of life there. Most Italians have between 7 and 8 espressos a day. Those espressos are about an ounce. Most of them are taken at the bar, but that's the spot where you go to see people during the day. You have an espresso and a little cornetto, which is a small pastry, or you have a biscotto, a small cookie with your coffee in the morning. That's your breakfast. Mid-morning, you take a break, you walk down to the bar, you get your coffee, you say hi to everybody, talk a little bit, go back to what you're doing. And they do that on and off all day long. This last trip, we actually went to a coffee shop named St. Eustachio, which is one of the oldest continuously running coffee shops in Rome. The crema on the espresso was like drinking heaven. 9:30 at night didn't matter. It was a wonderful way to end the evening. But that was one of the neat things. But the coffee bars there then contrasted with Germany. My wife's German by heritage, and we'd gone up into Germany. The Germans serve their coffee slightly differently. While it has a slightly more bitter undertone to it, they're more liberal with the amount of sugar that they put on top of it. Matter of fact, one of the afternoon things that the Germans like to do is they'll have a cappuccino, and they will sprinkle some of the sugar on top of the foam and eat that with the spoon, and then drink the rest of the coffee. So a much more, not necessarily a more relaxed, but just a different experience up in there. This was one of those comfortable spots. For us, as you mentioned, we had turned it into a thing. My dad had recently moved into the area. We had not lived near each other for going on 15, 20 years. And it was something for us to do to reconnect father and son. And then I brought my boys in on it as much as we possibly could, and them being not necessarily at the house, but would join us quite often. And then as family would come into town, the guys of the family, the brother-in-law and the nephews, we would all then come here for coffee on Saturday morning. That routine, that regularness, the very familial way that you do things here really made it comfortable and good for us, and a level of comfort. It's seeing you every Saturday morning, or Sharon blowing in and out as she's trying to get something done, or the two of you working through a shop crisis of some sort, of something not working. When your roaster went and trying to figure out, is this the end of things? Am I not going to be able to get Nate's espresso on Saturday morning? Am I going to be stuck with now somebody else's espresso? You being here, you having your craft that you do is as important, obviously, as the community you've built here. Had you not been roasting the beans, it would have made it different. Different good, different bad, don't know, but it would have been different. So kind kind of happy. Not only did you get a new roaster, but you got a cool roaster.
I do. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
You brought your whole family in to roast.
Yeah.
Because I've taught you how to pull shots of espresso off this machine. We've talked about coffee.
And the machine that this is the only one in the United States.
Yes, yeah.
That the Italians were shocked that there was one here.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Being able to see that process go from a true raw green bean, and I think the beans that you were using that day had come in recently. I don't think they'd been around a while, so they were like truly like the freshest green coffee beans you could have laid your hands on. And not only was it the watching the process, watching the smell, watching the change, hearing you explain, well, you have to listen for this. You have to be able to smell that. You have to be able to see this, and talking about the lift and how things adjusted on that roaster. The only roaster I'd really seen in my life before had been a very small, tiny home roaster that a friend of mine had that he could do a half pound of beans at a time. I'd seen industrial roasters, but never one actually in action. So seeing you work your magic and take something from a raw ingredient to something finished that I knew I could take home, grind, prepare in as many different ways as I wanted to, and taste that handicraft was cool. But it was also cool surprising the family, because they had no idea that's what we were going to go do that evening. So bringing my parents, bringing my sister, my brother-in-law, my nephew, my sons in, and getting everyone to experience that together as a group, and knowing, learning as to, okay, yeah, you get this wonderful black liquid every day, but there's a process in order to get there, and sharing that with them, and you being willing to teach, explain, answer, in some cases, I'm sure, silly questions, it's a cool thing. It helps people learn. It helps people understand. It helps people know that there's just a little bit more to it than opening a jar of Folgers. Coming during COVID, bringing that back to the Italian concepts. The Italians got the concept of a coperta, which is a cover charge that one pays when you sit and have your coffee. The Italians brought it up a notch during COVID. They had a coperta that they added a little bit more to that would help the local establishment clean the spot that you were at once you had left. So helping you with the coperta, making sure that we were doing our share of, you were kind enough to leave us space that we could still get together comfortably and yet still be away from people was a wonderful thing. It was, I think it was good for my father, it was certainly good for me, and it was good for my sons as well. I think it's the amount of, again, that familial way that you run your shop, the openness that you have with everyone. You're willing to engage no matter what anyone wants to talk about, which is a cool thing. But you also had a number of outreach things that you all had done during that time. Most companies, most organizations, most small shops will have a cause here and there. Not only is your tip jar, from my perspective, probably one of the coolest tip jars that exists out there, coupled with a number of the newer outreach things that you had done during that time, either raising money or trying to gather whatever it was to meet the needs of the community is a good thing. I think that outreach and that openness really makes this a good place.